Hi, it's Adam from Reality Manifestation, and within this video, I'm going to be going through 3 ways in which you can love yourself. So with getting straight into it, with the first way of becoming aware of your rules. So you're likely already familiar with what a belief is, but are you aware of we also have rules for what has to happen in order for us to feel or experience a certain way? So, for example, in order to feel good enough to be loved, someone may have a set of rules. Think of it like a checklist with a set of criteria that in order to be good enough, they might have to be able to fit into a certain size dress, they might need to make X amount of money, or look a particular way, or live in a certain area, or have some kind of achievements. So for any of you who are programmers, think of it as a bunch of if conditional statements. So this criteria has to be met in order for the individual to experience and feel that they're good enough to be loved or to feel loved. We all have rules for different aspects of our lives. To give another example, someone in a relationship may have rules, a list of criteria, to feel like their partner loves them, such as they have to tell me 3 times a day that they love me, at least once in the morning, in the afternoon, and just before bed. And just like a belief, just because something feels true to us, because as all a belief is a feeling of certainty about something being true, even though it might not be. And the same is true for rules. Just because we have a set of criteria for certain things to happen in order to mean something, that doesn't necessarily mean that should be what has to happen in order for it to mean something. And this is important to become aware of because we all have a set of criteria, basically rules, what has to happen in order for us to feel good enough, in order for us to feel loved. So I've already done a video that goes through rules in much more detail that I'll leave in the description box down below, that also goes through how to become consciously aware of your current rules and how to change them so it's easier for you to love yourself. So now the second way, once you've become aware of your rules and reasons to why you can love yourself, is to condition it. You may already be familiar with exercises or already done them where you've written down or found reasons for why you can love yourself, but a lot of this will only bring it up and be in your conscious awareness, and you will unlikely feel it deeply on a subconscious and emotional level, and that's where real lasting changes take place. So you want to condition yourself to believe these reasons on a deep emotional and subconscious level. I'm also going to leave some videos down below in which to do this, but one way I'll briefly mention now is through visualizations. So if you was to visualize yourself loving yourself for the reasons that you've already found before, and you create the sensations of being true within your mind and your body, the subconscious mind can't tell the difference between something that we vividly imagine and actually experience. And the same is what we feel emotionally. So if you create the sensations, eventually it will feel real and true to you, and not just something that you're trying to convince yourself of. However, when you're visualizing, you want to become aware of what kind of visualizations work best for you, and you want to apply and experiment with something called submodalities, which basically is taking our 5 senses and aspects of them, of how we're using them internally to represent what something means. So to give you a brief example now, is some people actually experience their visualizations more powerfully with focusing more on the sound that they experience within the visualization, more so than the actual visualization, the visual image itself. or some people will feel it more based from focusing more on the touch and the feeling of the experience. I've also done a video that covers this in more detail, which I'll also leave down below. And now the third way is to become aware of the stories that you're telling yourself that's in relation to being loved and your love life. So for example, similar to what I said earlier about rules, someone may feel they're not worthy of being loved because of X, Y and Z reason, but also say if someone has been in a harsh breakup and has left them feeling heartbroken, someone may repetitively tell themselves, "Oh, I'll never be loved again, they didn't like me because I looked a certain way, or I didn't do this or that, so because of this one person's reason for not liking, loving me, or for whatever the reason may be," which might not actually be true. There might only be a reason that they've said, which might not be the real reason, or it's how you've misinterpreted it, or it might be a story that you've come up with that's not on any basis of what they've actually done or said at all. But through linking this with a lot of strong emotional intensity and telling yourself and replaying the story enough times, this can lead someone to feeling it's true, as this is how many of our beliefs are formed within the first place, which could lead someone to believing that this will be the case of all future relationships or potential future relationships. And again, it could be a story that's completely fathomed within their own perception and imagination and was no actual basis in reality. But unfortunately, this can have a huge detrimental effect in someone feeling worthy of being loved and how they will show up to potential relationships. A similar example could be because for whatever reason someone may have been rejected from their parents. For example, they went down a different career or educational path than what their parents wanted them to do or choose, and because of their parents rejecting them, they may have a belief of, well, if my parents rejected me, what's the point in me loving myself, or how could anyone else love me? And a lot of this could be subconscious, but similar to a belief, a story we tell ourselves enough times with strong emotional intensity will feel true and will greatly dictate how we feel and how we act. So if you find you have limiting or disempowering stories, you want to challenge them through questions. So to give you an example, is it really true no one would ever love you based on X reason? Is it not possible with over 7 billion people being on the planet that you couldn't possibly find someone who you'd also love, who would also love you back? So I know that was an example of finding love outside of yourself, but ideally you should have already gone through and become consciously aware of the rules you have for loving yourself, as not being able to find love outside of yourself and needing it through others may be currently one of your set of rules. So before you apply any of the other steps, or ways rather, I've gone through within this video, the most powerful and important way you want to apply is becoming aware of your rules, because if you don't change or meet that criteria, you'll literally be fighting your own subconscious programming of trying to love yourself when your subconscious programming is saying likewise for the reasons due to your rules. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, if you could like it, and if you haven't already, also subscribe to the channel, as this lets us know what kind of videos you're wanting us to make more of. Also, share this with anyone who you'd think would benefit from what's been covered within the video, and also comment down below which way you're going to apply for loving yourself. I hope you found this video useful, and I shall see you soon.